Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to read a little something. So, as some of you may know, my mom died, transitioned. Someone said, graduated Earth. I like that. It's been, tomorrow will be 11 months. And I'm just at the very tail end of going through her things. And I thought this was a beautiful introduction to the song that I'm going to sing. The name of the song is called In the Silence. And this is something that my mom wrote and I wanted to share. Some days it's enough to sit in the quiet and allow your soul to whisper to you. So take a breath and hear what the universe has to say. In the silence, there is peace. In the silence, there is unspoken joy. In the silence, there's release. In a world full of chaos and noise, so I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find myself. In the silence, there is peace. In the silence, there is unspoken joy. In the silence, there's release. In a world full of chaos and noise, so I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find myself. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find God. I find myself. Do you need this pen up here?
Well, I see a few more faces than I saw when I came to the front of the room before. So welcome everyone that I didn't get to say hello to before. And Deborah, something's bothering me. What I would prefer, and I would have loved to have realized this sooner, but we're in the practice of making things happen around here very quickly when I change my mind about something. Mel and Kevin, if you would go get one of the big white tables, please. Deborah, I'm going to ask your guests. We're going to set up the table here for right now rather than across this way. But the back of the bus is not working for me. I would like your guests to be up here. So if you can help to make that happen.
Yeah, I think right now we have 2 presenters and then we have a support team.
Everybody is welcome up here.
Okay. So do you want people facing this way? Or you just want a row of chairs?
No, we're going to put a table here.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to have your friends and guests sit around the table and kind of, spill over.
Okay, so we'll need to bring the chairs up here, obviously. Okay.
Well, you don't need to bring extras because they're sitting in chairs. So the chairs they're sitting in can come up here.
Okay, so you guys can bring your chairs up. So these are all my support friends over here. We have 2 presenters.
And everybody is welcome to the front of the house. So we have honored guests here today. For those of you on Zoom and Facebook that have no idea what I'm doing now. And after service today, they and Deborah will be making a presentation. If you can turn that sideways, so it goes that way. That's awesome. Or cattywampus, or something. Yeah, cattywampus is good. Cattywampus is always good.
I love cattywampus.
Mary, Chaplain, Joe. Come on. Somebody will bring you a chair. Not to worry, you don't have to carry your chair. Come on.
Hey, Rev Ann?
Yeah.
There's just a little bit of confusion. We're not starting the panels now. We're still waiting. Okay, there was just a little bit of confusion because one of our presenters isn't here, and I just said, no, we're not starting.
No, I just, this is the way I grew up. When there were honored guests in my house, they sat at the front of the room. They were welcomed to be where they had the best seats, the best view, the best plates, the best of everything. And so even though your presentation won't happen for a while, I am happy to welcome you to the front of the house. What a glorious day this is. Even though, Shelley and I sang, Here Comes the Sun. I totally expected it to show up while we were singing. Well, I'm sure it did somewhere because it's Santa Fe. So it'll be here soon. Today we're talking about looking for beauty and the opportunities to do that. Even though we aren't necessarily easily able to find beauty or as easily able to find beauty depending on whatever circumstances we might be dealing with. But beauty's there. The thing is that beauty is always there. The essence of all of life is a handful of things. It's love, it's truth, it's beauty, and it's grace. And so why is that important? It's important because we can get distracted, or at least I can. I can get distracted by my calendar. I can get distracted by a text coming in. I can get distracted by traffic. Yeah, and there really is traffic in Santa Fe, even though it took me 10 years to admit it after I moved here from LA. Because there's still no comparison, but there really is traffic here in Santa Fe. We can get distracted by all kinds of things. Oh, and that tree has decided to bloom now. Since last Sunday. You know, I mentioned this last week. I tell those little blossoms because I know that freezes aren't necessarily over and the wind might not be over. And I tell those little blossoms when I see them, I just say, hang on. Just hang on, because that will pass. And then you will be able to just bloom your head off and all will be well. So we get distracted by all kinds of things. We get distracted by what's going on elsewhere in the world. When we're distracted, it can feel like beauty isn't as important, because paying attention to beauty when all this other stuff is going on, paying attention to beauty when there are people who are unhoused, paying attention to beauty when the legislature doesn't seem to get anywhere, paying attention to beauty when, there's always something. Mm-hmm. There's always something. But what if paying attention to beauty was as important as breathing? What if paying attention to beauty and looking for beauty changed the quality of our breath and the quality of our life? Beauty is something that many of us take pleasure in creating, whether it's with our voice or with our fabulous decorating skills, or in whatever way it is. Many of us take pleasure painting. We take pleasure in creating beauty. But that isn't enough, because it isn't the same as taking it in as a place where we live. This month we have talked about having the ability acknowledging that we have the ability to change our perspective and the difference that can make. Making a shift in our awareness, inviting a shift in our awareness, and the difference that can make. And one of the ways that we can recognize that that's actually happening, because sometimes we're in the process of making a shift, of changing our minds, of stepping across a threshold of new being, but we miss things. We miss details because we're so involved in the process of that particular experience. And so we miss the details of something extraordinary unfolding right here, just beyond our peripheral vision. Just beyond our peripheral vision requires what? Looking. It requires looking. When I came in this morning, once I got over my surprise of this room being all set up when I expected it to be empty, the room had been being painted all last week, and we were told that it would be empty when we got here and we had to set up chairs. So that's what I'm talking about. And I came in the room, and the first thing my eyes fell upon was this piece that's hanging over here behind the piano. Now, I don't know where that's been. It could have been there the entire time that we have been using this space. But it was like, where did that come from? Isn't it beautiful? It is so beautiful. And those things happen, right? I've had it happen where I have been in someone's home that I have been in many, many times, and I've seen a sculpture or a painting or something, and I ask them, why haven't you had that out before? And they look at me like I've lost my marbles, and they say, well, actually it's been right where it is for, maybe 10 years. Paying attention. Paying attention. Shelley sang this morning about, and Deborah actually read this morning about being in the quiet and what we can notice just from that experience of being in the quiet. But being in the quiet can take a little work. If our minds are all busy with the distractions, it can take a little work. But maybe the investment is worth it. Maybe the practice, even just of finding 5 minutes, where we successfully still this very busy computer up here that has so much authority and so much to say with authority. Even if we can just find 5 minutes, we might be able in that 5 minutes to find something beautiful. Even though all of us, I'm just going to say all of us, have a way of creating beauty. It can be beautiful food. It can be beautiful art. It can be beautiful music. It can be a beautiful friendship. It can be, because beauty shows up in unlimited forms. In unlimited forms. And behind the beauty that shows up in unlimited forms, this life that expresses itself in all of these exquisite ways, including through each of us, it shows up largely unbidden. It just shows up. When we have this little walkway in front of where we live, and I started to see these little leaves popping through dirt that had not been watered since the last time we had moisture that came from the sky. I mean, it had not been watered at all, and these little leaves were poking up through the soil, and I was just in awe of the fact that things were still finding a way to grow. And now they have flowers. We have lupin, and we have little jonquils, and we have all these little plants that are just showing up. And we've done absolutely nothing to take care of that soil at all because we had no idea anything was planted there. How does that happen? It happens because there is a life force in that plant. There is a life force in the seed or the bulb of that plant that, by golly, is coming through. It's going to come through no matter what. You don't want to water me? Tough. I'm stronger than that. I'm going to show up anyway, and I'm going to make beauty happen right here anyway. And that's how life lives through us. Mm-hmm. It is, and you're all welcome to laugh, irrepressible. I invited them to laugh because it's my favorite word. It is irrepressible. There is nothing and no one who can get in the way of irrepressible love, irrepressible beauty, irrepressible truth, irrepressible grace. There is nothing and no one that can get in the way of that. I had an experience this week. And Mel's reading this morning reminded me of it. Mel's incredible reading of the 6 directions. Where someone said to me, you know, we've destroyed the earth. So whatever happens to us, you know, we kind of asked for it. And I thought about that because the whole statement, because clearly they felt so strongly that this was true. And they weren't asking me, and they weren't saying to me, what would you say if I told you that we'd destroyed the earth? They were just making this sweeping statement, and I believe in respecting other people's opinions, particularly when my opinion isn't asked for. But I thought about it for a while. And this is how I feel about that. Human beings have gotten caught up in human doing and a little distracted from being. And more than a little distracted about some of our larger responsibilities to each other, to the earth, to the environment we live in. It doesn't mean everybody, I'm not saying everybody has done that. I'm just saying that there's a history of human beings getting caught up in human doing and losing sight of what the impact of that might be on other living things and on other things in general. But I don't believe for a second that we've destroyed the earth. Because she's much stronger than we are. We may think that we're the brightest bulb in the chandelier. But there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. Because look at what happens on her own. Look at how forests regenerate from what seems like total destruction. Could we do that?
No.
I'm not so sure. With a lot of help, maybe we could figure out how to, make the soil healthy again and how to, but it would take a long time, and then how to find seeds somewhere, but the forest makes its own seeds. A tree falls, and from that fallen tree comes new trees. We fall and we say, I can't get up. So the good news is that our chances aren't over. Our opportunities have not ended. We are all here today at the same time for a reason, and that is, in my view, to consider new possibilities. To consider new possibilities for ourselves, to consider new possibilities for others and how we care for them, to consider new possibilities in terms of our world, to consider new possibilities in terms of our involvement in our world. I'm not asking anybody to join a march. What I am asking you to do is look for the beauty and protect it. Whether it's the beauty in your mind or the beauty in front of you, Look for the beauty. It may be irrepressible. It is irrepressible. It cannot be held back. But we can miss the show. We can miss the dance by not paying attention and by not being willing to get our hands a little dirty. Life is amazing. The earth is amazing. Our opportunities for changing our life and gifting back to the life around us in whatever way we can. But first of all, with our attention and our love and our care. Our opportunities are uncountable. So I invite you all, this is your homework for the week. Look for the beauty. And then see what you can do to make it more beautiful. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. So this is the moment at our center. So if we can have the baskets come up. Great. This is the moment where we take a moment to honor, to appreciate, to be grateful for the myriad of ways that the Everyday Center for Spiritual Living blesses and enriches our lives. I know for myself, I come in here every week and I'm guaranteed to experience love and kindness. How beautiful it is to know that one is going to get that. And so within that, this is our opportunity to say thank you, Everyday Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you for the gifts that you give me along this path. Thank you for the beautiful music you provide for me. Thank you for the amazing messages we get, for the prayers and the love and the kindness. And so please, let's say together our giving affirmation. The love of Spirit blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive abundantly. And so it is. We're in love with that.
I have something I want to share.
Yeah.
Because as many of you will remember, you didn't need to go anywhere, will remember we have someone who lives out of the area and they follow Everyday Center and send support every month. And they always send it in a beautiful card, and he always writes something inspiring. And I wanted to share this with all of you today. Hi, everybody. Truly, the first signs of spring are appearing. We appreciate them, both for the beauty they provide and the abundance to come that they foretell. We take to heart their message that the storms and darkness are not permanent, and new always emerges, both here and in the world to come. We are very glad and grateful to send the enclosed tithe to support the wonderful work that Everyday Center for Spiritual Living is doing. Thank you for reminding us there is no earthly condition that God cannot set right. Blessings, Tom and Marlene.
Lovely.
You want to go over there? It is God's nature to give, and it is our nature to give. It is God's nature to receive, and it is our nature to receive. So in this beautiful dance of giving and receiving, acknowledging that as we come together, the love of God warms our heart, the truth of God excites our spirit, and the wisdom of God guides each one of us both individually and collectively along our way. We are so grateful to commit these gifts to those gifts. And so it is.
And so it is.
Hi again. Okay, so we're going to celebrate with this
Okay.
song. We're thanking winter, we're welcoming spring, flowers, here comes the sun. Kevin's going to accompany us with some drum beats, this song. And if you know it, sing along, dance, whatever you want. This song was done in the 70s by the Bellamy Brothers. So, yeah, let your love flow. There's a reason for the sunshine sky, and there's a reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the season when that love light shines all around us. So let that feeling grab you deep inside and send you reeling where your love can't hide, and then go stealing through the moonlit night with your loved ones. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow in the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. And you'll know what I mean, it's the season. Let your love fly like a bird on a wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine. And you'll know what I mean, that's the reason. There's a reason for the warm, sweet nights, and there's a reason for the candle lights. Must be the season when those love lights shine all around us. So let that wonder take you into space and lay you under. It's love and embrace, just feel the thunder as it warms your face, you can't hold back. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love flow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love flow. And you'll know what I mean, it's the season. And let your love shine like a bird on the wing, and let your love learn with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. And you'll know what I mean, it's the season. Let your love flow, and you'll know what I mean, that's the reason.